It is Wednesday, my dudes, and that means today is November 24th, which means we have 2 episodes of Hawkeye to talk about. I could not be more thrilled. If you were there at my watch party, you would know that I absolutely lost it. I'm so excited that this series is finally here. And so let's just jump into it because I have so much I want to talk about. I will be doing separate reviews for the first and second episode just for continuity reasons of all the rest of them having their own video. I think that will just work better. Episode 1 of Hawkeye is such a great pilot episode. We are introduced to so many characters in this episode, a lot of which aren't named, but we get a sense of like their character and who their relationships are with. And I think that is so good because when I saw the cast at the premiere of this, I was kind of stunned that there were going to be so many people involved with this, including potential cameos or people like Florence Pugh, who we know Yelena is going to be a series regular in this series, but we didn't see at the premiere. There's just so many people, and I was like, how are they going to manage this? They did an absolutely excellent job introducing everyone and playing certain things, so if you know who certain actors are playing or what their history is in the comics, you have a little bit more excitement for the episode and the reveal, but it doesn't leave people who don't have that history confused. One of those characters who was introduced so well was Kate Bishop herself. I can't believe that Kate has only been in the MCU technically today because I feel like I know her so well already after 2 45 to 50 minute episodes. Even though this is her origin story as Hawkeye, we sort of get like why she was interested in archery or martial arts or any sort of fighting when we see her as a child in the Battle of New York. And I really appreciate that because taking place in New York, New York's not only a city with its own legacy, but in the MCU itself, it has so much history, specifically with the Battle of New York, and placing her in an apartment building across the street from Hawkeye is just the perfect like way to show like she's gonna grow up loving these Avengers. And I just thought it was really great because I think about how me at myself in 2012 after seeing the movie was googling all these characters and researching Hawkeye specifically and blogging things on Tumblr about him, and I just know that in the MCU Kate would have been doing the same things, and so to finally meet your hero is just crazy. So I really loved that like introduction there, but I also liked that it wasn't like a brand new scene. It was just sort of taking that iconic scene where he falls off of the building and inserting some more history in depth there. Additionally, I really liked the fact that Kate kind of came by the Ronin suit by accident. Obviously, she had probably heard about Ronin living in New York City at the time. I really liked the fact that Kate didn't fully know that Hawkeye was Ronin until they kind of bumped into one another, because it would have not made a whole ton of sense if she had been the only one to figure out, like this teenager at the time figuring out that like her hero is also this like assassin. I kind of like that part of Hawkeye's history was kept a little bit from Kate, but the fact that she still comes across the Ronin suit, I think it was just perfect. And I also loved the tension between her watching behind the wine stands and seeing Jack go for the sword, and just kind of having that background comic knowledge, as I said, in those scenes particularly really played out so well. Additionally, I really wanted to praise this episode because I think it has some really great parallels of parenting, if you will. So obviously we see that Clint Barton's main goal in this series is getting home to his family, which is like the pivotal like Christmas mission or stakes of some Christmas movie. And so it fits so well that even a superhero, especially one like Clint, who is just kind of so over the dog and pony show of being a superhero, he just wants to go back to his family. I think it was so fun to see him with his kids, but also get to see Kate with her mother Eleanor. And especially because Kate and Eleanor have this conversation at her father's funeral about how Kate's like, I need to protect us, and Eleanor is like, that's my job, when that's fundamentally what Clint is also trying to do for his children, is say like, get you guys out of the city while all this stuff is going on, go back home to mom, like I will be back soon. And like he ultimately maybe wants to get out of being a superhero, not only because he's older and he's kind of tired, he wants to retire for real this time, but because he doesn't want to put his kids in danger or risk their safety at all. So I really liked those kind of parallels of Kate's relationship with her mom and Clint's with his kids. I just thought that was great. And also I really like his kids, each of them, Cooper, Lila, and Nate, or Nathaniel. And I also loved the touches that we're getting. I saw a tweet and they called it Natasha Romanoff crumbs. I loved how the episode touched on Natasha's death and how that has so severely impacted Clint. And I think we've seen more in episode 2, which I'll get to in that review. but it's really interesting to me that we're going to see that be a through line through here, and that makes it the perfect combination of introducing Yelena into this story, but also just keeping that tie of a Black Widow and a Hawkeye just being together. And Clint largely feels like he can't do these things because he was maybe supposed to be the one that died, and that's why he's so grateful for his family, but that's why he's also kind of done with being a superhero, is he's like, my best friend died so that I could be with my family. I want to escape these demons in my past. I want to fix everything and just go home to my wife and kids. And I just really loved that. Yeah, I just like seeing Hawkeye get to be a dad. I know some people might say that that's the boring, or that's his only personality trait is he's a dad, but like I think as we see him be a little bit more colder at first, or like low-key as Kate calls him, to Kate and their conversations with one another where she's very overeager and ready to get into the fight, I think it all just kind of adds up and really summates this character who's like, he's done good work, but he's tired now and he's ready to retire. I also really liked the setting up of the like ticking time bomb of Christmas is 6 days away. He's promised his daughter and his wife that he's going to be home for Christmas. There's also the imposing Christmas dinner of Kate and her mother and Jack that's like coming up, and I like that for both characters Christmas is, they need to have their stuff together by Christmas. And I think especially with the series being 6 episodes, I just see the last one ending on Christmas morning, and it's just going to be perfect because they'll get to encapsulate about one day in their lives, or about like a night and then the next morning or day or something like that. I just think this is a perfect way to set up the series, and I think it also definitely puts a little bit of pressure that like, okay, we can't dilly-dally through New York now, like we need to get these things done and kind of be a little no nonsense about it. Last, I absolutely loved how this episode paid homage to Matt Fraction's comic run, not only in the opening kind of title sequence we had of seeing Kate grow up and excel at archery and martial arts and fencing, because it is the exact like artistic style of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run, and which is actually more credit to the illustrator, so I will put his name on screen when I'm editing. But I really loved that, and I also felt like Kate's apartment felt so just taken out of the comic books, even though we never really get like an establishing shot of Clint's apartment in that comic and what it looks like. It has all of the same elements as Kate's, and a lot of the color scheme also feels very similar, and so I just really appreciated that, and that was just really fun. This show feels like a comic book come to life, and also just like the most exciting Christmassy superhero thing, and I am really loving it so far. And I think this pilot episode has kicked off what's going to be my favorite MCU series yet. But what did you think about the first episode of Hawkeye? Please let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video so I know to keep making these, and hit subscribe so you don't miss these reviews of Hawkeye or my watch parties, which I am hoping to keep doing every Wednesday at 2:30ish a.m. Eastern Standard Time when waiting for the episodes to drop, because it was so fun watching them with you guys, and I just think that'll be a really fun way to like start off our Wednesdays. Thank you again so much for watching. Have an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you all in my very next video. Bye, y'all.